Hello everybody. What you're looking at here are two jet skis I bought last winter for a low price of $200. The one on the left here is a Sea-Doo GTX. I don't know what size. I believe it's a 1996. And over here I think we have either an 89 or a 90 Yamaha. If you asked me in the winter I would have knew what year they were, but it doesn't really matter. You now know as much about them as I do. And that's pretty much where I am with them. Don't know if they'll run, don't know if they're seized. All I know is they're really not too bad looking condition-wise. Hull, seats, paint, coloring, plastics, everything on them, except for the handlebar grips, is pretty nice. Hopefully they work. The Sea-Doo here, I don't really care for. I really like the Yamaha. Well, let me back up a little more. I don't care for either. One of them, they're kind of lame if you ask me. I'd much rather have a little outboard on the back of these things. But the girlfriend wants jet skis. I got these for her. That way she can actually have some fun when we go to the water instead of just watching me play with my outboards. The Yamaha here is older and slower and not desired by anybody, but it's got a much lower profile and it weighs a lot less. You can do little spins and you can generally have a little more fun on the Yamaha than you'll be able to on this big, hulky, deep thing. But this will go a lot faster, probably tow a little tube or maybe even a knee boarder. Probably a skier, but yeah, good luck on that one. But for the most part, quicker and better, slower and funner. That's where we are with them. I'm really hoping this one's going to work, especially given how old it is. It's kind of unique being in the condition it's in. These things are a dime a dozen, nobody cares for them. But at the same time, when I bought these, it also came with two more. A spare one of these, which was in absolute horrible, terrible shape, but had a really good motor in it. And then a Polaris, which was absolute junk, and I took it to the dump. Hopefully that one works. If not, I have to fix this stupid thing. Hopefully I don't, because I don't want to learn how to put the motor in it, because I'd rather just put a battery in this one and go out in the water. We'll check out this one over here first. A buddy of mine had one of these just like it. His parents actually bought it for him, him and his sister, when they were little. Being kids, they tore it up as the years went on and eventually just sat and died. I got rid of it, but that did give me the experience of what they're like. They also had a Polaris, a little bit smaller than the GTX here. That's why I know it's a little slower and doesn't do spins, and so generally not that fun. Just to see them. All right, first glance, engine's pretty clean and shiny. It's all there. Doesn't look like anybody's ever screwed with it. It's actually pretty nice. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Let me go get a camera in there for you. See what I mean? It looks like it's just been sitting around its whole life. There's no trash in there, no obvious signs of rigging. Fuel lines are still in their little clips and zip ties. Spark plugs aren't out of it and laying on the ground. So, all in all, it's probably not that bad. But nicer it is. It's probably toast. Let's see. If I recall, battery's under this thing, impossible to get to. And there is no battery under there. All right, I found the battery and the original Yamaha tool bag and a Craftsman 1/2-inch wrench, which is kind of odd because everything in here is probably going to be metric, but whatever. I have battery cables hooked up to the battery, running down hooked up to a battery, and I have a Yamaha 12mm wrench hooked up to the stop switch. I don't have a lanyard for it. I have my ignition tester right there and my compression gauge. So we're going to see if this thing turns over. Hey, it does. And we have spark. And we have 145 compression, so that's pretty good. Alright, we have compression and spark on the back cylinder as well, and just shy of 150 psi on the back. So, compression's good, and we have spark. Well, I'm pleasantly surprised. This will be a piece of junk ski after all. Alright, air cover is off. Dry as a bone in there, just kind of what I expected. Let's put some gas in it. Why not, right? Alright, if you're a subscriber of my channel, you probably know what kind of gas tank this is. spark plugs aren't connected. Get some gas going through the cylinders first. Engine rattled a little there. Hopefully there's nothing weird going on. So far this looks pretty sweet. Alright. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, I fucked up. Shouldn't have done that. So I hit stop and the button fell apart on me. That's not good, but it runs. I'm going to pour some gas in the actual tank and see if we can get it to run on its own. Alright, gas is in the tank. Put some extra 2-stroke in there just for safe measure. Pretty sure these are 40 to 1 and my tank was 50 to 1. Close enough, but I threw them randomly in there. Stop wrench is back on, or safety wrench. So let's see if it'll start on its own. Nah, not yet. Well, verdict's in. Needs a carburetor, and I think it'll run fine. Alright, it seems turning the fuel on had no real effect on it. Alright, he looks like you can kind of see what's going on in here. I got the camera flash on, which really for my benefit than anything. A little set of wrenches, which do not go small enough to keep that off of there. Pretty sure that looks like a 10 millimeter. So I'm going to grab a 10 millimeter and probably, yeah, I grab a bunch of them there. I'll be back. See if we can zoom in a little for you. Probably make life a little easier. Yeah, that'll work, huh? Alright. If you're watching this video, you're probably watching it to see how to fix your jet ski. Fair warning, I do not know what I'm doing. Never done one of these before. But how hard can it be, right? Alright, I pulled the little throttle cable plate off. I probably should replace this gasket as well as the top one. So I gotta go figure that out now. But carburetor's off, let's go clean it. So even though the gasket ripped, I was able to redraw it. Just put it on, traced it, flipped it over, traced it, and that's the gasket I need to make. Well, 2 of them, but yeah. Alright, let's get this thing apart. Now, as this is a round body BN carburetor, a square body would be an SBN. I have the round body carburetor kit ready to go. I'm going to take it apart and hope I don't lose anything and hope I remember how to put it back together. But that is where filming this really comes in handy. So problem so far, this little part was not included in the rebuild kit. However, this one was. There's a chance that that's not needed. I don't know. Anyway, now it's time to pull out the needles. I didn't want to do this. The plan was to just leave them alone. That way I don't have to worry about trying to tune it afterwards. However, it is kind of dumb of me not to do it because chances are O-ring inside of there is probably falling apart by now. So the plan is to count how many turns in it is till it's seated, back it back out, count how many turns. So there's half a turn. Half a turn out. All right, well, easy enough. All right, now for the other side, going down there. Let's use a screwdriver on it. Needle nose doesn't really help. So let's count in. So there's half a turn. Just a little past half a turn. Now our kit doesn't quite have the exact same part, but I don't really see it being a problem in not having that little notch, so I'll just go ahead and use the new one. So I just ran into a little bit of a problem. I mean, it's not really a problem, it kind of is. I pulled out parts differently from how they should have gone together. This round little clear piece of plastic should go right after this seal here. So this clear little round plastic should go there, followed by the solid little round plastic piece here. However, that's not quite what I pulled out. Was it done wrong at one point? Maybe. Don't know. Am I doing it wrong now? Maybe. Don't know. But either way, that's how it was. That's how it's going back together. However, it is on the part diagram here. As you can see, number 34 and then number 32. And then our base gasket. So I definitely need number 34 here, or at least I'm supposed to. So I'm torn between ordering a new one or using this one. Now there is a chance that they, researched it and said this gasket doesn't do anything. In fact, it hurts operation. We're no longer going to include it. Or you're supposed to reuse your old one. Or if you need to, you buy it separately. These are a bunch of questions, options that I do not have answers to. So I wiped this down with the old paper towel. And I'm putting it back in. If there's any problems, I'm going to open it up, pull that off, and then try again. But I don't necessarily foresee any. And that should be the end of our carburetor rebuild. Now it's a simple matter of just putting it back together. Now we should be good to go. Now a couple of things I've learned about this so far. If you're buying a used jet ski and somebody says, oh yeah, it's got a rebuilt card, it's good to go, just needs a battery, and yeah, I don't have jumper cables, so I can't start it for you, but yeah, no, everything's fine. If they say it's got a rebuilt carb, and you see these gaskets, they're probably telling the truth. It looks like these were painted after they were assembled. So if these gaskets have paint marks on them like the old ones do, well, you can't see it, but anyway, it's probably never been rebuilt, and who knows what else they're lying about. Same goes for the screws. They were also painted. Now I soaked it in carb cleaner, which kind of deteriorated the paint off of the brass, which, it's fine, who cares. So if they're undisturbed, yeah, chances are it's never been rebuilt. So I don't think this one has ever been rebuilt. Again, paint on gasket ends. Let's hope this works. All right, here's the broken gasket. And I just went ahead and cut out 2 new ones. So let's go get this carburetor on. All right, got the some of the new fuel line installed, and I have a zip tie clamp. So zip tie them on. Most would probably say use those clamps here, but let's be honest, those clamps aren't that much better. Alright, now it is time to get the carburetor mounted. I couldn't get my hose clamp gun down inside of the little cavity down there where the pressure line goes, so I had to use the hose clamp, which is fine. I probably should have done that in the first place. So, where the throttle is, those are going to be the hard ones to get on, so naturally do those first. That way things get easier as time goes on. So, lift the carburetor a little bit. Try to slide on the washer. Alright, washer probably is on. Now we're going to get the nut on there. That side's on. Got the nut started. Now from the front. Washer first. Followed by our nut. I'll find where I put it. There it is. Alright, those are tight. Now I'm just going to kind of match up where I think the fuel line lengths are. I could use the old one, granted. The problem is this stuff doesn't have the natural bends to it, so you can't make too tight of turns because it'll just kink the hose. Word of advice: when you put this thing together, before you bolt down the carb, you might want to attach that lower hose and hose clamp because that thing is not easy to get to once the carburetor's on. Anyway, linkage is hooked up, airbox is back together, fuel lines are all clamped, battery's hooked up, so I think we're about ready to start this and see if it'll start on its own without having to dump gas in the carburetor. I got the choke on. I'll hit start. We'll see what happens. Jet ski carburetors, once you understand them and how they work, they're really not that difficult. In fact, they're really incredibly simple. All it took was a couple of turns of the low speed needle. Thing fired right up. The problem now is it needs to be tuned in the water. I can't really do that on the trailer, and this building doesn't have a water supply yet, so I need to take it to the water. So I'm going to get the trailer ready for transport, and we'll see how it goes. Now, for this thing, as much as I like it, I really don't want to tow it down the road if I don't have to. Just a added unnecessary weight, and when I'm trying to float this one off, I don't want to have to deal with this one too. So it's got to come off the trailer. Now, as funny as the safety wrench is, it should be replaced. Got some new lanyards here. Should work, I think. Yep, looks good to me. And the spare should fit in. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's funny. Well, the spare can go in here. What else we got in here? We got a tow rope. Let's hope that doesn't come in handy, huh? fire extinguisher. And a cigar. Come on, money. Be money. Just be a wad of money somebody forgot. Registration. Jerks. Oh, even the lights work? Look at that. May not have found cash in there, but at least the lights work. Alright, wasn't expecting the water to be this cold, but here we are. Well, that's not bad. It's pretty good. Oh yeah, it's mixed at like 30 to 1 too. So it's going to smoke a little more normal. Woo! Just a little more normal. Something's a little off, I think. Well, it's fine at, 3/16 throttle. Seems like it's idling okay.
Yeah, that's really clean, honestly.
So it seems fine at idle. A little bit of throttle, but too much, it just kind of falls on its face. So I'm just going to keep backing the screw out, the high speed, until I think I got it close to where I want it. That was arguably worse. Well, there was a little bit of a camera issue there, but what do you do? So after some water testing, the verdict is in. The thing runs incredibly well at idle, and idle only. Anything past idle, it'll run for a few seconds, however you want it to. If you want to go half throttle, it will run for a few more seconds. If you want to go full throttle, it'll run for a couple of seconds. There is definitely something wrong with it. Going to the jet ski forums, People say it's an exhaust leak. It could be the baffles are going bad. It could be the water box. It could be crank pressure, yada, yada, yada. I don't really believe any of it. If this was an outboard running like this, I would say either there is a serious restriction to the fuel line or it is sucking air. My prediction is that carburetor fills with gas and you have enough throttle in there to go until the carburetor runs out of gas, and its little fuel pump can't just keep up with the supply the engine needs, and it just dies. Supporting theory is you gas it for a little while, you go fine. If you let off the throttle before it dies, it'll continue idling just perfectly. You only have short little bursts so that you can use it in. It kind of supports my theory. Again, it's just a theory. I moved the jet ski over to this side of the trailer for more diagnostics of the fuel system. That way I don't have to sit there and step around the fender. So we're going to tear into it and see what the problem is. I have removed its little fuel filter here. Giving it the blow test, there definitely is some restriction in there, but not enough to cause what I'm kind of describing. I have a new one here, ordered it a while ago, just finally showed up. It definitely flows better, but not that much better. But it's off, so might as well replace it. Well, I got both fuel lines disconnected, fuel tank caps, let's call them, over here disconnected to see what was going on. Let me show you the on. Cap and a pipe. Let me show reserve. Cap, pipe, tube, filter. Now, after reviewing my footage, I was running on the whole time. How that little tube is picking up anything is really quite baffling. It shouldn't have. Like, really, it shouldn't have. So, I'm going to pick this up. Try to fish out anything that might be left down inside of there. If it's in there, I don't really even know. Prior owner could have been fixing something and lost it. Or, it could have just fallen off. Oh, got something down there. Well, there's some of the hose clamp. Well, alright, I got the filter now. We have that much line, so let's go ahead and cut it there, and I will reassemble the hose clamps onto that filter and onto their thing, and we'll get it back in. Now, this standard off-the-shelf fuel line may not necessarily be the best for an in-tank fuel line, but it's what I can get. Well, for now, I'll look into getting something better, probably. Maybe I can order a spool of it if I plan on doing any more things like this in the future. Alright. Forgot to put that clamp on, but otherwise it's reassembled. So I'll drop it back into its hole. Tighten the hose clamp back down. Hopefully that's solve our problem. Now, the old one, it's probably fine, but it's very spongy. It feels very weak. Do I think that's a problem? Probably not, but I could change the other side, or I could leave it. Maybe I'll just leave it. Yeah, I think I'll leave it. I'll worry about it later. Yeah, I always forget something. I know. Yeah, getting a little frustrated with this thing. It had no fuel pickup tube. It shouldn't have ran period, yet alone very well. I really, really thought that was going to fix it. And it didn't change it at all. I'm baffled as to why. So my last desperation, I'm going to rip out all the bonus parts that I installed in the carburetor. The O-ring at the top, the second gasket, and then I'm going to install the original spring and arm and hope that fixes it, because I'm at a loss. I know there's pop-off pressure to be tested on these things, but I figured it's a bone stock ski. Why would it need any adjustment or change to the pop-off pressure? I didn't see it needing it, so didn't bother with it. And I don't have a gauge. But anywho, I'm going to pop that thing out of there, and we'll hope for the best. So this could have been installed wrong. Yep, that was 100% installed incorrectly. That sucks. Well, let's put it back together. Leave the new parts in there. Grab the fender. Now you don't want to start too close to the dirt. Start like a rock. Start like yeah, guys, you're going, aren't you? Well, looks like she's having fun on it. I guess I'll go register it now. Well, that's the end of this video. I'm gonna try to tune it a little more, get it going a little faster. Those little carb needles, they are quite sensitive.